You've got two sets of consumers now that you didn't have 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago. You've got the online customer who says, I don't really want to come to your store. I want to just sit down and order stuff and have somebody bring it to me. Let somebody else do the work. Let them pick it off the shelf, bring it to me, and I'll be happy. And then you've got another group of customers that says, you know, that online stuff is great, but I really like to pick my own tomatoes. I have no interest in having somebody else, a 17-year-old courtesy clerk, picking my tomatoes. I want to pick them. And so, two shopper groups, two sets of expectations, two sets of behaviors. What do you do? And that's kind of what we're here to talk about today. I think the key is that there is opportunity. You see people here online purchasing with online delivery. There's a lot of activity in it. So you've got to understand who the shoppers are and what they want and how they play out across your stores. You need to come up with some assortment and pricing, and you need to do research, and you need to use the data, essentially is what it boils down to. Because without the information, you can't formulate the policies. And it's a solid fact that the things that we did last year and 2 years ago and 5 years ago aren't going to work because the market's changed, the consumers are changed. You're going to hear more about that from Donna and Rob.
Well, it's a great match. 71% of Whole Foods shoppers have Prime access. That's much higher than the 50+% in the general market. So it's a great match. What do shoppers think about this? Everybody's aware. However, only about 15% are shopping more at Whole Foods at this point. And kind of the flip side of that, about double that, almost 30% of Whole Foods shoppers shop on Amazon. And that shopping for CPG is almost all bulky, non-food kinds of items. So going to be a big major shift would be my guess. What is Amazon trying to do by buying Whole Foods? On the right, you can see that only 2% of shoppers do all of their shopping at Whole Foods. It's usually, pick up an item, do a few fill-ins, that kind of thing. But over 60% are saying they would buy more at Whole Foods if there was free delivery.
The consumer of today, the modern consumer, cares far less about a brand or a brand name. Not that brands aren't important, but it's really about the product and the value that they get from that product. And they're willing to really try any brand out there to get it, in my mind, or switch to any retailer to get the value that they're seeking. It's not just generic, it's not just private label, it's really about brand. And I think one of the other things you're seeing from retailers today that speaks to that is more and more brands or retailers, they're developing exclusive brands. They're developing secret brands is another term that you hear out there with Amazon. And it's almost that surprise and delight and that treasure hunt. And you're seeing less of retailers putting their banner or their name on private brand and more of creating independent, standalone brands that can compete with national brand. And that's really where we are. It's really about brand. It's not about private label.